each other in the eye. But I have absolute faith, just like you, in humanity as a whole being loving, nurturing, caring, generous beings.
No, absolutely. And again, my personal experience, I'd say even with the police, most of my work, my film work, is done in London. And I'd say 99% of the police I'm able to get through to and speak to the human being beneath the uniform. And that gives me a massive amount of optimism, Freeman, that, you know, in the major, some people call it the belly of the beast, one of the main cities in the New World Order, London, the kind of regal jewel in the crown for these people. The police are still human beings, and you're able to connect with them. Of course, you're going to get the horror stories of thug, skinhead ones who end up beating some poor Pakistani tourist to death. But we get bad apples in every single crate of apples. So, again, optimism. If we go back to that thing about the quantum mechanics of the reality we live in, and that we are living in one universe amongst trillions or infinite overlapping universes that you can jump into through your perception, why not have a perception of people as optimists? An optimistic perception of people. And if you start believing things, then that will actually color your reality. If you want to have rose-tinted lenses, you'll find that you are living in a very beautiful world. It's just the way you look at it. And there is no difference between your perception and the outside world. So, you know, in Luke chapter 13 in the Bible, I'm not even a religious man, but he says the kingdom of God exists inside every man and woman, not just one man, but all men. And what I think that means is look inside yourself, discover your connection to the source, and then start applying that energy that comes from the source into projecting into your outside reality. And I get goose pimples on my skin even talking about it, because you know,
yes,
hearing myself speak, it reverberates into some inner truth within me.
The hardest thing for any people to have is this faith, and that's what we have to engender, and that's what we have to support and show to everyone else, that you can have faith in humanity. We're coming back up on our last break here. The show is going so fast, Charlie. I love it. And so find your faith, find your inner child, allow it to come back up out of that hole that you've put it in to try and keep it safe because it's scared, and I understand. And bring it out so that everyone can see and realize and notice immediately that you get the attention that you were hoping for, that people are sharing. We're running up on the end of the show here, so here's your time to just tell the world everything that you're thinking, everything that you hope and fear. Just rant for us, would you?
All right. Before I give a rant, I just want to follow up on what you said. To all the listeners, if we get Freeman, the Freeman himself, over to Atlantis, this big hotel in Dubai, the Matrix will collapse, unicorns will rise from the ground, and to have the image of Freeman lying in bed with dolphins swimming past his bedroom in a giant fish tank with all the thoughts that will go in his head, this is a beautiful thing for me. So I will be posting that link on my Facebook. I might even mention it in a YouTube video, because I would love to see you in Dubai. I got to visit Dubai many, many years ago, and it is like a giant Arabic Las Vegas, and it is quite funny. It's a funny city. But,
that's strange. I gotta say, I wanted to say that even if I had money, even if I were rich, and I'm telling you guys, I am not. Actually, I'm deep in the hole right now. Well, maybe not deep, but, you know. Anyway, I don't have money. But even if I did, if I were rich, I would still do my trips the same way I did with England and with the other trips where I went and stayed in Freeman fans' houses. That's the ultimate way to experience a place, is just put it out there and stay with the people that are there. I love that. I mean, I had so many homes in England. We stayed there for a month, and I wouldn't do it any other way, even if I had all the money in the world.
Yep. And here's my rant. Are you guys ready for my rant?
Absolutely.
Okay, here goes. Let me just sit up straight here. Take a deep breath. There is no one in this world controlling you. You are not a slave. The people you consider evil, the world controllers, are merely projections of your own mind projected out there into the world. They are the representation of our own darkest thoughts. We all have those dark thoughts when sometimes someone annoys us, where we wish for the annihilation of all the world's morons. But again, the morons are also manifestations of us. And in an infinite universe, in an infinite world of possibility, of course we're going to have a small elite of people trying to bring about an agenda. Of course we're going to have a great number of people we consider morons. But, as Bill Hicks says, he's one of my heroes. We need to love all the people. Unconditional love is something I can only hold in my heart for not very long, maybe a few hours at a time, and then something will snap me out of it. Someone will, react aggressively to me on the London subway, or, someone will try and run me over just because they're in a bad mood, trying to get to their corporate office whilst they're on the phone snorting cocaine with a hooker in the passenger seat. These things are annoying, but they are all merely the infinite projections of your own mind out there in the 3D physical world. So there is nothing to be scared of, not even fear itself. We all get scared, we all get terrified sometimes, but let it wash through you. Let your soul be like a thin piece of paper with X-rays, which represents the fear shining through it. Let it flow through you. Feel the fear. Enjoy the fear, because it won't last forever. Relish everything which you consider bad, because they are all life experiences, and you would not be who you are today without all the really bad things which you consider are bad that happen to you in your life. Wisdom can only come through spiritual suffering, and learning can only come from your own mistakes. We unfortunately cannot learn from other people's mistakes. We need to make the mistakes for ourselves. But to me, a mistake is beautiful. It's inherently an amazing thing, because to make a mistake implies literally that you attempted something. And we need to kind of spare a thought for all the people out there who don't even try to do things, and they're the biggest losers of all. And the projections of our mind, the controlling elites, they haven't tried to talk about peace and love and understanding and spirituality on the mainstream media news. And that is the great cross they have to bear and carry. So my final message to everyone is, keep your chin up, sit up straight, carry on living, and just be an incredible human being. And being a human being doesn't mean you need to move out to Tibet and meditate in the temple for 7 years. It doesn't mean you need to be a guru. It just means you need to react as a human would react. And this is actually a good film I watched called The Quiet American. It's an adaptation of a Graham Greene novel. And there's a Vietnamese guy in that film who makes a choice, and he ends up murdering someone. And not to concentrate on the murder part, but he actually says to the main character, in order to remain human, sometimes we have to take sides. And that's what I think one of the great challenges is knowing which side to play for. But ultimately, there are no different sides. We're all on the same team. But in order to remain human, you need to forgive yourself for the times when we act aggressively, for the times you sometimes wish for, the annihilation of a great number of people you might consider evil or annoying. We all have dark thoughts. Sometimes we want to, shoot our manager. Sometimes we want to beat people up because they're just so annoying. But to forgive yourself is to forgive all of mankind. And also, there are things in the world, in the 3D world, which can help you on your spiritual path. And I speak of things like psilocybin magic mushrooms, which if you take them and you lie in a field somewhere with the sun shining down on you, you will feel all that infinite forgiveness and understanding and the hilarious unconditional love, because you'll start to realize that you are taking life too seriously, that everyone is imperfect, everyone's doing their very best. And I believe that. I honestly do not think people choose evil, which again is just a label we attach to things. Everyone is doing the very best they can with the information and the upbringing that they've had. So to forgive yourself is to inherently forgive everyone else, and then we can start to explore this universe together as one big family. And not to sound like some sort of crazed hippie here, but love is the only way, which is why my group is called The Love Police. And as I said before, it's to lower fear and raise love, which is why when we go to protests like the G20 today, or all the other things I've covered in London, like the fascists marching against the anti-fascists, I call these things dances. These are theatrical productions. These are your mind giving you incredible experiences. And what you really should be doing, not that I'm going to be Mr. Randy Pan, the preacher boy here, but is spreading the love and acting, not reacting, and trying to connect with people. Because, let's take an example. Say I murdered someone or raped someone, which I would never do. But if I did, my own mother, she wouldn't, assassinate me or execute me, she would be very